Good morning, all. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Friday, the 18th of July. My disclaimer: I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com, and it's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. Morning, Doug. All right. Okay, let's have a look at ES. Now, we've gone and retested the high again today. This is a potential level top setup. I am, as I was yesterday and the day before, rather hoping that we will see a retest of the all-time high on Dow and a retest of the current highs on Dia. We haven't seen those yet, but we are seeing some signs of possible reversal. Not on ES, where we haven't got any negative divergence, but we have got a 60-minute sell signal fixed on NQ, and we've got a nice looking level top as well. And on RTY, we're pretty close to making a retest this high, and we've got another 60-minute sell signal that's fixed. I'm still hoping this will go higher. I'm still thinking it's got a decent chance of going higher, but we will see. Right, let's have a look at YM, where, gotta say, this bull flag's looking very good. It doesn't look as nice on the Dia chart, but looks pretty tasty here. It hasn't broken up. If it does break up, then the distance to retest this high, it would be far shorter than the distance it's just traveled up from this low. So I'm thinking that we could see that. It would need to still go a little higher to make the retest the all-time high on the Dow Industrial, ideally, and we might well see that. DAX is also supportive. I was talking about this possible IHS here, double bottom here. That has broken up with a retest of a target at the retest of the all-time high. And at the moment, I'm not really seeing anything to suggest that won't make target. On ESDX, possible bull flag breaking up. Not really seeing a reversal pattern, but if we saw a bit of a retracement here, we'd have another very nice pattern looking for a retest of the all-time high. On DX, hang on, let's go and look at the bigger picture charts, actually. Right. Looking at SPX, nice looking wedge, nice looking breakdown, nice looking high retest. This is a pretty decent looking potential level top. So we will see how that develops. On the hourly chart, we've still got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed. That hasn't failed, and I'm still expecting it to play out. We've also got RSI 14 sell signals fixed and an RSI 5 sell signal fixed on SPX and on ES. So I'm liking the downside, but I would like to see it go a little higher first. On the Qs, I've got still a possible weak RSI 14 sell signal brewing. We've got an RSI 5 sell signal fixed already. We've got an hourly RSI 14 sell signal fixed, and we've got a nice looking wedge which has broken down. I am watching to see whether or not it could reach this trend line, well, a slight variant of this trend line that goes through here on the upside, in which case the wedge could just be expanding. We will see. On the 15-minute chart, not a lot to see. Nice looking at a level top as well. On Dia on the daily chart, a retest to the high would not now give us a possible RSI 5 sell signal brewing. It is too late. It's gone down too low. But we could get an RSI 14 sell signal. And that is what I'm looking for. And I would like to see this go a little higher, because while on Dia, this is a new all-time high, marginally. On Dow Industrial directly, which is the dog and is the tail, we haven't quite made the retest of that high. It would improve the setup here if we did actually manage that. So I would like to see that. On the hourly chart, RSI 14 sell signal fixed on the hourly chart, but we've already made the target on it, and there's a possible bull flag set up here, but it's not as nice. So I haven't drawn in the trend lines for it. I have drawn in a resistance trend line. We didn't quite hit it. But I would like to see this retest, make it up to 44886, and ideally go a little higher to allow the Dow Industrials to make a new all-time high as well. All right, let's have a look at the IWM chart. On IWM, we've got on the daily chart, we've got a weak RSI 14 sell signal fixed, we've got an RSI 5 sell signal fixed, and we've seen this very slight break below daily middle band, which isn't significant, and the rising support trend line, which may be significant. Watching this with great interest, leaning towards seeing a retest of this high here at 22605 and maybe a bit higher. Again, I'm wondering if this might be expanding, but given the overall negative divergence, I'm really leaning leaning on the bigger picture towards the downside. On the 15-minute chart, not a lot to see. Very clear break below the rising support here, leaning towards topping action. Obvious next target would be a retest of this high here at 226.05. On DAX, we've got no current divergence on the RSI 5, and we're not likely to get any with a retest of the high, but we've still got a nice looking overall double top. We are holding support at the daily middle band and the 50 DMA, and we've already got a weak RSI 14 sell signal fix. I think this may be topping out on the bigger picture. I think the next obvious target would be a retest of this high here at 24.6k, and I'm thinking that could be the second high of a small double top, taking us down to this trend line here, which might be the a head and shoulder neckline, but might be also the double support on a double top on a larger scale. We will see how that goes. Okay, been kicking around the daily middle band the last few days. As I said, I'm more doubtful about seeing the 42.4k now, but no reason to think this won't at least retest this high here at 40.9. Okay, let's have a look at the dollar. Now, the dollar may well be about to reverse here. We've got this rising megaphone forming, we've overthrown it, and we've got a possible double top forming here. We've got 60-minute sell signal fixed. We've got clear support at the monthly pivot, and if we see a breaking conversion of the monthly pivot to resistance, then we would have a setup at a retest of this low. This is actually reasonably well supported by a mirror image on euro with a very nice looking potential level bottom, and obviously resistance near the weekly pivot in this instance. But I'm really liking this. I'm thinking we could go back and retest the high on the euro and the low on the US dollar. One of the things I was thinking was supporting the bear case was the Australian dollar, which has broken down from this double top with a target down here. But I have to say, that's a hell of a, this isn't necessarily a rejection, it just might be a rally, but it's kind of, the speed is looking kind of like rejection. I wouldn't be astonished to see this just reject straight back up to the highs, which would support the dollar going down. We will see. Looking at bonds, we've seen a little bit of a rally here. We're back testing the broken neckline again. I'm still liking the downside. I'm not really seeing much to contradict that at the moment, but it's always possible, of course, all these patterns could reject back up to the highs. I'll be watching out for that, but I'm leaning towards the downside. I think really on the bigger picture, there's quite a lot of downward pressure on bonds here. Although at this stage, as I was speculating in the bigger picture webinar and on yesterday's pre-market video, I am wondering whether the Treasury is buying bonds at scale here, which of course would help support bond prices. CL, we've got, we're back over the monthly pivots, and I've got to say, we're seeing quite a lot of strength here. Looking at HO, we had a nice looking little level top set up here, and we bulldozed up through it. RBOB, we've got a nice looking double top, which has broken down here, and it looks like this might be rejecting back up to the high. This is actually looking fairly short-term bullish. I'm leaning towards this actually making the retest of this high now. HO may be making it back into the retest of this high, although it seems very out of step with the others. We've got some negative divergence here. It might not, but I got to say the feel here is that we're actually seeing some decent upside action. NG, we've broken down from a little rising wedge and maybe forming a topping pattern here with a retest of this high, setting up a double top. Watching that with interest. If we go higher, I'd be watching for resistance at the monthly pivot at 3.696. Okay, GC, we've been seeing, I drew in a little possible flag resistance here yesterday. I'm wondering about a retest of this high. And on silver, I'm wondering about a retest of this high. Palladium and platinum are interesting though. This was forming what looked like a double top and has bulldozed up through it. We've got some negative divergence, but I haven't marked it in yet just because this has been going up fast and hard, and we may just lose that divergence as this continues higher. On platinum, we've still got a potential level top here, but I'm wondering the same negative divergence though. HG, we've been seeing a bit of a rally here. This hasn't really moved an awful lot since the tariffs were announced here. So I'm not really looking for a retest this high, but the price has been holding up, and I would have thought a lot of people are stockpiling against expected tariffs on the 1st of August. Looking at KC, nice looking little rising wedge here. leaning towards this being a bear flag at this stage, and it looks like a little overthrow here, so I'm thinking this could be a little level top. I'm wondering whether this is going to break down with a target in the weekly pivot area, although obviously that's not going to be the weekly pivot area by the time it's reached, most likely, because of course today is the last day of the week. SB, nice looking little rising wedge as well. This could be just reversing a possible IHS neckline, but obviously this could also be a bear flag, one or the other. CC, seeing a little bit of a rally here, but I'm not really seeing much to suggest that we aren't going to continue downwards. No current, no positive divergence. CT, I've been looking for a retest of this high here in the 69.5 area, and I think that's on the way. Lumber, nice looking double top that broke down with a target down here at about the 632, 635 area. I think this is just a little rally before probably heading down again. We shall see. On ZW, we've seen a bit of a rally here and pretty decent rally on corn and a very decent rally on soy. I'm still looking for bigger picture targets on the downside, but in the short term, these all seem to be going up, and soybean oil has actually managed to retest the June high. Possible double top here, but nothing really compelling saying this is about to reverse. Live cattle is continuing higher. This no longer looks like a double top. We do have a 60-minute sell signal fixed, though. On lean hogs, we have this falling megaphone form, which I think may well be a bull flag, and that is breaking up slightly. So we shall see how that develops. Okay, just to recap on, have a look at questions, of which we've got none, and have a quick look at. Yes, we've got an opportunity here to see a bit of retracement. We have got a couple of sell signals which are fixed overnight. Bigger picture, though, I'm still looking for that high retest on YM. I'm quite liking the look of this bull flag. I was saying in my post a couple of days ago that obviously we could be topping out here for weeks. I'm still seeing this as just part of that process. I was hoping what we'd do first is go up and make the retest on Dyer and go up and retest the all-time high on the Dow Industrial, and I'm thinking that may well be in progress. We shall see. All right, great. In that case, I think it's a wrap. Have a great weekend. Oh, do I have a chart for BA? I most certainly do. So bear with me a moment, mate. Yeah, I've mentioned a couple of times I've been setting up lots of charts on the for a lot of these bigger picture items. This is the Dow. And BA is, I think, in chart sequence 3. Hang on, wait a second. Nope, it's in 4. Let's have a look. Bear with me. These are all the multi timescale charts on them. But BA, I was updating that yesterday, and kind of looks like a triangle, which is starting to break up here on the bigger picture. On the standard weekly chart, you can see the same triangle, but it doesn't look quite as nice. Heading up towards the next obvious target would be, if this is a classical triangle, in about the 260 area. We've got no negative divergence on the weekly chart. On the daily chart, we've got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed, and I've got a pattern which has been forming from the low, which is a very nice looking potential rising wedge. This rising wedge overthrew slightly here, and obviously it might see a break up. It may be expanding to the upside, but honestly, this looks kind of toppy. We've got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed on the hourly. I'm thinking this is going to break down into at least a significant retracement, or we could be making a pretty significant high here before we see a full retracement back to the April low. That's what I'm thinking. All right, no worries, mate. Anyway, ask about these, and also if there are any really big stocks which are likely to have good options action that you want me to have a look at, just ask me. I can have a look. But if you're thinking about the Magnificent Seven or any of the Dow Industrials, I've already done them, and I'm working through the sector ETFs at the moment. All right, mate. No worries. Anyway, have a great weekend, and everyone take care, and I will catch you again either at the Bigger Picture webinar on Sunday or the next pre-market video on Monday morning. All right, take care.